Hey, I just want to tell everyone thank you for spending a couple hours with us. Specifically, I'd like to thank the folks at the American Wood Council, Buddy Showalter, Marcy, and Michelle for inviting me to talk today. And they've been great cooperators for the Forest Service and the Forest Products Lab for many years. And also, thanks to all you folks, I noticed there's about 340 people on the line today. Thank you for taking the time from your day to hopefully get some good information on condition assessment of in-service wood. Before I go into too much of the detail, I'd like to give you just a little background about where I work and who I work for. I'm a federal employee. I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Forest Service, and specifically stationed at the Forest Products Laboratory here in Madison. We're a national lab. We've been in existence since 1910. Everything we do is available on our website. You'll see some documents today that you can get either from the American Wood Council or off the Forest Products Laboratory's website. Just a little background on the Forest Service. The Forest Service is the largest employer and the largest agency in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We've got somewhere between 30 and 40,000 employees. That goes up and down depending on the time of the year. I'm sure most of you folks have seen a lot of our work when you visit any one of the national forests or grasslands in the U.S. We're responsible for the management of those lands. As part of the Forest Service's mission, we focus on using good science to manage those forests. And as a consequence, we have the largest natural resource-based research organization in the world. The Forest Service funds a research organization that has scientists stationed from Maine to Hawaii and Alaska to Puerto Rico. And a lot of those folks deal with regional issues, and they're organized in what we call stations. The Forest Products Laboratory is located in Madison, Wisconsin. It is part of that organization within the Forest Service. And as a consequence of it, we're a national laboratory. We have a national significance or impact. We work virtually across the board with all kinds of different cooperators, university folks, other government agencies, and private sector corporations. So we're a national lab. Simple contact for us, just go to Google or any of those search engines, type in Forest Products Laboratory, will come up. We've been in existence, as I said, for over 100 years. All of our publications are in the public domain. They're available to you at no cost. You can search on anything you want, from how to identify wood to the properties of wood fiber to how to inspect old Ironsides. Get on there, use it. We're also here to answer questions, and we do a lot of that in conjunction with the American Wood Council and folks like that. But give us a call. All the information for myself and the scientists here are available on the website. There's contact information for snail mail, our email addresses, and our phone numbers, as well as fax numbers. So we're here really to service you folks, to help you out. Give us a ring. So that's a little bit of background on it. Everybody always asks why we chose Madison. At the time the lab was formed in 1910, that was the center of the wood industry. And actually it's worked out very good for us to be here. So anyway, that's a little bit about the Forest Products Laboratory. As Marcy said about myself, I've been at the laboratory but just a little over 27 years now. I've enjoyed every minute. I've had the opportunity to work with folks like Buddy and a lot of the folks at the American Wood Council, as well as a lot of our colleagues in industry and university people, to develop the kind of information that allows us to use wood in a very, very responsible way, especially on the engineering side. So that's a little about me and about the Forest Products Lab. And so feel free at any time to ask any questions or check out our website. Let's move on here. Marcy, I don't believe I have to cover these copyright materials. What I want to get to is the course description. What we're going to do today is just focus on the present state of the art in assessment methods for wood and timber structures. I'm going to go through those individually, and what I'm going to do also after those, we'll take and ask some questions after those. And then what I'm going to do is put up some what I consider interesting projects that we've been involved with over the years that will show those various technologies being used and present results from them. And we've got things in there from some large glued laminated structures up to inspection of old Ironsides or USS Constitution. So anyway, that's the course description, and what our objectives will be today are, first of all, to provide you some background information on the unique characteristics of wood as a structural material. It's very unique and has a lot of different properties compared to, say, other structural materials like steel, concrete, masonry, even some of our advanced composites. So I just want to spend a little time with you folks going over those, and I think it'll become self-evident as to why we do what we do. Then I'd like to hopefully you come out of this with some baseline information on assessment methods for in-place assessment of structures, including state-of-the-art non-destructive evaluation methods and equipment that's available. We're going to present some example evaluations, and then what I want to do, and really what you should come out of this with, more important than any of my discussion, is really two good state-of-the-art sources for information on assessment of in-service wood. I think they're excellent resources. We've tried to put those together to answer a lot of the questions we would get from folks like you in the field who are actually at the forefront of dealing with these things. We're going to show these at the end too with websites, but there's two documents that I use a lot and I recommend people get a hold of, anybody who's doing any kind of in-service condition assessment or inspection. The one on our left is, we're very proud of, it's called the Wood Handbook. That basically is a compilation of the properties and characteristics of wood, wood products, lumber products, clear wood properties, everything from the anatomy of wood up through how you design timber bridges or fasteners with wood. It's about 600 pages long. It's available on our website. It's one of our most highly used documents. We get somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 to 200,000 downloads a year of that. So it's a very well-referenced document. Particular chapters that are going to be important to you folks would be Chapter 5 on clear wood properties. We get a lot of calls from practicing engineers, and we designed that chapter to help us answer those questions. So there's table in there, table in Chapter 5 that has, in essence, all the mechanical properties from just about any kind of wood you can think of, both domestic in the U.S., Canadian, and as well as some tropical woods. So that's a very important thing. In addition to that, there's an entire chapter dedicated towards demonstrating to people how we come up with allowable design values for wood products. Now, that particular chapter in the Wood Handbook talks about new wood, but it's an excellent basis, and it shows you exactly what we go through when we come up with allowable design values and how those are derived. So it's an excellent resource. In addition to Chapter 5 and the work on clear wood properties, there's chapters in there that I'm sure are going to have major impact on what you folks see in the field. There's a chapter in there on biodeterioration of wood that describes in detail how various biological agents affect wood and in-service wood properties. It talks about things like decay, termite infestation, marine borers, excellent background information. There's another a chapter in there that talks about the physical properties of wood, and one of those has a section on natural durability of wood. So you'll get a table in there that tells you the relative ranking of various wood products or wood materials and their natural durability. The other chapter that's very highly used is a chapter on preservative treatments. Anybody who's been in the field, we run into that problem a lot. Has it been treated? What's it been treated with? There's a chapter in there that deals just with preservative treatments and their use with wood. and it's current up to the date when we delivered this, published this, since about 2010. So it's very state-of-the-art as far as what's going on there. The other chapter that I think is very important, we developed specially for this particular edition of the Wood Handbook, is a chapter on wood composite materials in a variety of composites, and that covers everything from wood plastic composites that we see in decking materials. I'm sure all you folks have seen that, up through and including glued laminated timbers, laminated veneer lumber products, and comparison of those properties from those materials to solid sawn materials. So those are major chapters you're probably going to want to look at. The other chapter that we get a lot of calls in and we put together to help out with is the chapter just on fasteners in the design and background information on wood fasteners fasteners in wood. And that includes discussion on nails, screws, wood screws, very solid background information that we use quite a bit. So it's a great document. It's available and will be made available through the American Wood Council, and it's also available on our website. You can pull it off in its entirety, or everything's in a PDF format, searchable. You can pull it off by chapter. So feel free to use it. We're real proud of it, and hopefully it's of a benefit to you. The other one, and I think is very specific to this topic area, is a book we just published last year, and it's really focused on this topic area. It's called our Wood and Timber Condition Assessment Manual. It's the second edition. Basically, everything you're going to see today, all the photos, all the graphics, are in that manual in more detail. Excuse me. It's put together in cooperation with the American Wood Council. It's a really solid document that we've gotten very positive results on. It includes a chapter on visual inspection technologies and techniques, what to look for, what are some of the obvious things we see. A lot of photos from actual inspections I or my colleagues have been involved with over the years. I'll share some of those photos with you during this webinar. There's a chapter in there on development of allowable design values for in-service wood. So I think that'll be really important for you. Well put together and a very important document. That topic is pretty covered in real detail in there. We won't go into that detail today. That would be probably an hour and a half or 2-hour seminar in itself. There's chapters on probing technologies. A lot of people use those. I'll cover some of that today in this presentation. Ultrasound technologies. There's actually an example condition assessment report in that document, as well as summaries from some of the inspections and a listing of the publications that support those inspections in the report. So please use it. It's a great document. We're real proud of it, and I hope it's of benefit to you. One thing that's important in there, when we go through some of these things today, I'm going to talk about some of these technologies and techniques. I'm not going to today give you listings of equipment, where to get it, contact information. All of that is in the Wood and Timber Condition Assessment Manual. Websites, snail mail addresses, all the contact information you need to get that information and to help you with your assessment work. So please feel free to use those. They're available, and we're real proud of them, and hopefully they're a benefit to you.